moving on to the second one here. We are at Watkins Glen, and we do have a little bit of surprise here. If you will look at number 7, just on the right-hand side here, you will see a Mr. Rory Alexander. Mr. Here He Is, or Here He Is, or what is up, guys? Welcome in. My name is Nick, and welcome to the channel. You join me this time in the Forza GT category here at Laguna Seca on a very grey start to this one here, and we are in the new to Forza McLaren 720s. Going to be taking this out for a couple of races today just to see how this thing goes. We come through our first qualifying lap, but not particularly a competitive time at 1:26.1. On our second attempt coming up the hill there, we run a little bit wide. Under the bridge through the kink, we get a big boatload of oversteer coming down through the sweep and left towards the penultimate corner. We are still down, but we do sneak 0.2 improvement over that, so still a very pedestrian 1:25.9. Through the first sector there, we actually managed to find 0.3 coming down from the corkscrew. We're up past nearly 0.9 coming through the sweeping right hander here, getting the car right out to the left hand side, crossing the line, finding 0.9, putting us at a 1:25.001, which at the time was good enough for third. I went early because it looked like it was being overcast. However, unfortunately, once everyone else had put their times in, we did drop all the way down to 7th. So we will be starting front midfield. This is a pretty full lobby. I'm not sure if it's all 24, but there's going to be a lot of people on track here. So looking for a clean getaway and see if we can get through turn 1 without any incidents. Who knows with Forza. Right, we get away nice and cleanly here. We get a little bit of smoke from the guys in front. We have a quick spin around to see if we can see anyone else in our immediate vicinity. We don't. We put ourselves on the left-hand side here, up the inside of the BMW, brake nice and early. We get a tap in front, which sends us into the back of the Corvette. They keep pushing us through, so we spin the Corvette out. He comes back across rather aggressively, and there we go. So by 2 turns, we're off into the gravel. Down from P6, we've managed to make up from the grid to P13. Come around to the right-hander, they've got a Corvette joining the track there. Use your brakes probably is the best thing there, because that was an incredibly bad rejoin. I know it was out of control, but if you'd have put your brakes on, you wouldn't have slid back into the track like that, but never mind. A few more people going off, so we get up to P12. We have a BMW up on our left, so we're going to leave him this inside space there just to make sure we can get around this nice and cleanly. We pinch him off so he doesn't quite have the speed up the hill. He slots back in behind us. We brake for the kink. We have a McQueen liveried Dodge that we're going past here on the left hand side of us. Coming up here, we are cleanly in front. We put ourselves on the right hand side. We brake nice and early, get the car in, but apparently we're not allowed to go through the corkscrew this time, so we're going to take avoiding action down over the dirt and a bit of wheel spin as we rejoin the track. So we are now back down to P17, so we've dropped 10 positions from our starting position. So a great start as per usual. Coming through the right hander here, we've got the BMW running off the track, so we're going to make up a free position here. We put ourselves on the inside because we have a KTM just behind us, slowing right down on the apex to make sure we don't get a switchback. The Dodge is off onto the gravel, so we get a P15 for free. Up the inside of the BMW, we outbrake ourselves completely here. He gives us the nice switchback, so we slot in behind him. Braking here just to make sure we get through this corner nice and quickly as we can. We have a car rejoining the track. It's the same Corvette, in fact, actually rejoining the track very questionably there from the same as he did in lap 1. We are behind the V8 supercar coming up the hill. Just going to give him a bit of wide margin because they're not the most agile of cars. Braking for the corkscrew, we get a tap from the BMW behind. We get all out of shape because of that on the inside of the corkscrew as we come down the hill. Hold on to our position at P14, a bit of squabbling in front of us. We get a tap from the BMW once again coming through the final corner. Gets us a little bit out of shape. He does apologise on the top right hand side of the screen. You would have seen there, he did do the quick chat sorry. We have a little look up the inside of the BMW in front of us, but not really anything going on there. We are getting swamped by the BMW behind us as well. Jumping forward to lap 4, we do make a couple of positions up with some people spinning off. Something went weird with the video file. Apologies for that. We're just coming up under the bridge towards the kink here. I could see something was going to happen with these two. The Dodge just sending the V8 supercar off into the gravel, had no real chance of making the pass there. Just stuck his nose in, spun him out. He gets all that shakedown. We make a position up around him as well. So we are now up to P9. Here on the final lap, we get a bit out of shape, so we end up very slowly through this corner here. We have the Corvette who we have had a couple of occasions with early in this race for his questionable rejoins right behind us. He gets right up behind us through the right hand and gives us a little tap. We put ourselves on the left, but he decides he can go a bit more left than we can. I should have really darted to the right there, but I was already braking, so just sort of left it there. He gets up the inside with a little bit of tap, goes a bit deep, stops me from turning in, and as we come towards the line here, he decides to put his brakes on for some unknown reason. But anyway, so with all that said and done, we finish P9, so we do drop 2 places from our qualifying position, but it could have been a lot worse considering we were down in P17 very early on in that race. Our lap times were about where we should have been, to be honest, 127.3. But we're moving on to the second one here. We are at Watkins Glen, and we do have a little bit of surprise here. If you will look at number 7, just on the right-hand side here, you will see a Mr. Rory Alexander. Mr. Here He Is, or Here He Is, rather, from YouTube fame. So we are going to be on, well, potentially on stream for this one. So we do our initial qualifying lap, as is tradition with us being a very, very pedestrian one, 151.2. We are 4 seconds nearly off of pole position, so it's a mountain to climb up here. On our second lap, we managed to find a couple of tenths coming up through the sweepers, through the bus stop. We make that a lot cleaner than we did previously. Coming down into the boot section, we are up almost a second. Following the KTM lines in front of us here is really helping me find a bit of time. This guy came up very quickly behind me, and I'm just following him through to see where he's finding his time, and as you can see, it's working pretty well. We found 1.7 seconds, and into the last corner we are 2 seconds up on our PB, so still going to be a bit far off the pole, but we are now within the 148s, so 149.083, so just banging on the door of that. We go through the first turn, we get a nice run through there, we find another half a tenth going through that one there. Through the S's, we managed to maintain that, still half a tenth up on our personal best. Down the hill from the bus stop, we find another tenth coming down there, and we are 4 tenths up coming through the toe. Coming out boot section, we are 6 tenths up, and through the final corner we run a little bit deep, just making sure we don't run into the wall. We were 9 tenths up, but we compromise our run to the line there, unfortunately, so we do only end up 0.7 of a second up, so 48.313. So we managed to find a fair bit of time in that. We are overall starting P7 in this one, so once again P7, second time in a row. And if you have a look who is just behind us on the grid, it is Mr. Rory. It is Here He Is. So going to be having a whole load of stream people watching us right from the off here, so no pressure at all, making sure we don't mess up turn 1, as we will be having a lot of people watching it. So just look to make it through the first few corners nice and cleanly here, and not ruining anyone else's day. Setting off here, we get a relatively good start. We get a much better start than the Lamborghini in front of us, as we make up a free position up to P6 coming into turn 1. We're in the middle of the track, not where I like to be. We get a tap from the Lamborghini behind us, making sure we leave space on the outside as Rory is around. We get half a second penalty. I'm not really sure why. We'll jump to Rory Cam, and we'll see that he gave us apparently a little tap, so we both get a cheeky half-second penalty for that. So coming up through the S's here, we maintain at P6 on the run down to the bus stop in the slipstream of the BMW in front of us. We have a little peek to see if there's worth a lunge, but not really. Lifting off and then braking at the shelter. We get through the bus stop. Someone goes a bit deep in front of us. As we come out here, I managed to miss a gear. My steering wheel for some reason didn't shift up when I wanted it to, so we end up dropping a little bit back from the guys in front of us. Rory also had to take a little bit of avoiding action because of he was expecting me to accelerate, and I didn't. So sweeping down here into the boot section, we are holding on to 6th, coming up into toe corner. Just going to see if we can get a nice dive up the inside here, just looking to keep nice and close through this early part of the race, as we have got a very good position, and we've survived the first few corners, which is always nice. We do go very deep into the heel corner here, and we get a slide across about a little bit of a tap from wrist of Rory behind us. You see just how close it was. It was fine on his screen, but on mine I got a tap. He darts up the inside. I do the switchback as he goes a bit deep. We gun it. He puts 2 wheels out onto the grass, and we manage to get back in front to P6. Coming through the penultimate corner here, my line's a little bit compromised being on the inside, so we're a bit slower through there. We get another tap from Rory behind us again. There we see him, Rory Cam, once again. We managed to survive that though. He goes a little bit out of shape. We are a bit slower through the last corner than we would like to be. As you can see, he's in our slipstream.
God must think about absolute lunatic.
No, Rory, you're fine. No, you're not a problem at all. We've all managed to survive that. It's what's a little tap between fronts. Anyway, we get a good run through turn 1, but unfortunately not as good as we needed to, as Rory is right behind us with the slipstream. He is obviously running a lot less wing or better gearing than I'm doing, as you see. He's just breezing past me on the way down here. We'll say goodbye to Rory Cam at this point, as he will be disappearing off to the distance after he passes us here. We brake into the bus stop, making sure to keep the other 720s behind us. Rory gets a little bit out of shape coming through the bus stop here. As we drop down into the boot section, we're just going to try and hang with Rory as long as we can. He is probably a lot quicker than I am anyway, so we're just going to see if we can pick up some braking points and follow some lines through this section here. Through the toe, we get very close. He gets on the throttle a lot earlier, and I get a little bit of slip just as we come through the final part of the corner. He gets on the throttle a lot earlier than I can and starts pulling away, but he really gaps me here as I run a little bit too much curb there, unsettles the car, stops me from putting the accelerator down when I want to. As you can see, by the end of the lap, he's already gapped me by about a second as we come through. through turn 1. We missed the apex by a couple of feet as well, so that's not great. We've had a much slower run up the hill, and once again the other 720 behind us is going to be quick enough in a straight line with aero or gearing to get past us way before the braking point. So we just slide in again through the bus stop here. Just going to try and hang on and not lose too many positions at this. Coming down into heel, we brake, get ourselves in and across. You can see behind us the camera rear view mirror section is all full of the pink 720s. We are lined for astern. We come up to the left-hander. He turns in as if I'm not there. That gets us both a bit unsettled here. It more so as I managed to get enough power in a straight line to pull in front of him. Again, might be gearing, something like that. I'm running a very short gearing in this one, as you probably noticed. Coming through the penultimate corner, he gives us a tap on the back there, unsettles us, and then just decides to muscle his way through on the last corner. He is sporting a 2.25 second penalty, so the name of the game now is to stay within about 1.7 seconds. Will offset our half-second penalty, which we've not done too well with, to be honest. On this last lap here, he's managed to gap that through toe. He has caught up to the other guy in front here, so I'm just hoping that they will start squabbling, which it looks like they will, which will slow both of them down as we're looking to get the jump on him with this penalty. So as we come into the penultimate corner here, you can see they are squabbling. The guy in front was about half a second, so we guys should be about a second and a half or so ahead of us. So we should be making a free position up here, which we do. We end up P8 overall. So we do drop one position from qualifying, unfortunately, but that lap, I think that the qualifying lap I did was more of an outlier lap than it was my full pace. Although our fastest lap is actually faster than our qualifying lap by a few tenths there as well. So we do have underlying pace, it would seem. Well, yeah, that was that one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I know you're probably asking, we should go and see what Rory thought of that race.
Oh, nice, Nick.
Yep, nope, not too offended anyway. Well, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. On the left here is the last GT race I did at the Yas Marina circuit. On the right hand side is my Forza Motorsport playlist. Do feel free to click through those, enjoy, drop me a like, leave me a comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. Cheers.